This is E.T., and this, as you may know already, is Madame Marcia Champney, known throughout the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., albeit known on the down low as one who tapped into some spiritual plane that told her the future, that she in turn related to others with large amounts of money and influence. Madame Marcia did foretell things accurately, and that boosted her credibility among the power brokers of the nation's capital. But E.T. showed in episodes 1 and 2 of this series how Madame Marcia could have done this, utilizing simply information unavailable to most of the general public, and even those in government, the news business, lobbying corporations. But what of her most famous prediction, issued as a threat to Harry Houdini? That was during a break in a very raucous June 1926 congressional hearing, and that was an inquiry into the now very public influence of Madame Marcia, as well as other astrologers in the nation's capital. Influence with congressmen, their wives, their girlfriends, influence even with presidents. Madame Marcia is reputed to have said directly to Houdini, and that was during a recess of a very raucous congressional committee investigation, the following words: "You're very smart, Mr. Houdini, but perhaps I can tell you something you don't know. When November comes around and the license is due, you won't be here. You'll be dead." Unquote. Harry Houdini, the world's most famous magician, died October 31, Halloween 1926, just hours before the 1st of November. That is an example of clairvoyance that is very hard to dispute. The official story of Houdinis death goes like this. On October 22, Houdini was giving lectures at McGill University, that's in Montreal, Canada, Quebec. He's resting in his dressing room. I think it was at the Princess Theater, when he is visited by a group of students. That was after a performance. Now, one of those students is J. Gordon Whitehead. Whitehead asked Houdini, "Is it true that you can withstand any punch to the stomach?" Houdini, at this time, is relaxing on a couch, and he answers in the affirmative. Whitehead, according to a witness, who I'm going to quote, delivered 4 or 6 terribly forcible, deliberate, well-directed blows to Houdini's stomach. Within a few days, as Houdini continued performing, his temperature went to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. He was taken to a Detroit hospital and underwent surgery. They removed a ruptured appendix, but considering this is before the advent of penicillin, the infection had spread. Houdini lingered in bed for several days and then died, as you know, on the last day of October. That story appears to confirm Madame Marcia's power of clairvoyance, but as proved to be the case with her earlier predictions, this one too is explainable. Point 1. While Marcia's threat to Houdini is documented, it appears to have been related after the fact and related by those outside the congressional hearing room, almost all of whom were Marcia's fellow astrologists, and all of whom faced financial ruin from Houdini's testimony. Point 2. There does exist evidence that Houdini's death was planned, as suggested by authors William Kalish and Larry Sloman. Here's their book. And that planned death was possibly by a collusion of intelligence services, perhaps here and abroad, plus a cabal of Marcia's cohorts. They were reputed to be very skilled in the administration of poisons, and evidence exists that Houdini and his wife both exhibited behavioral changes that suggested both were poisoned. Also, something else to consider. There exist so few examples of traumatic appendicitis that it is very unlikely that that punch caused Houdini's death. No autopsy was performed, so we don't know for sure. Point 3, Houdini operated as an asset for U.S. and British intelligence agencies. Now, you may think this odd for a performer, but many performers in the past have done this. John Wilkes Booth, the actor who killed Lincoln, was a spy for the Confederacy. Abe Lincoln himself had his own spy that worked directly for him. That spy was a performer, who, by the way, later got to know Harry Houdini. And if you want to look at more recent examples, there's Chuck Barris. Do you remember him? He hosted the dating game, the Newlywed Game, the Gong Show. He wrote a book about his experiences as an intelligent asset for the CIA. The name of that book was Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. It is very possible Houdini possessed information that, if made public, could harm those agencies. Also consider this. Whitehead, the young man who threw that punch, may have acted for an intelligence service, or maybe an occult group, or maybe both. He was very well connected. His father was a British diplomat. He himself was a very close friend with the Marler family, a very well-known family in Canada. The senior Marler was once Canada's ambassador to the United States. Consider this too. Within a year after Houdini's death, his younger brother Nathan Weiss would be dead. His agent, Harry Day's apartment, would be burglarized and ransacked. And his brother Theodore's house was broken into, and that's where most of Houdini's papers and props were kept. That brother, Theodore, by the way, died a decade later following an operation, and that was just prior to his coming out with a book on his brother. In 1962, the last surviving brother, Leopold Weiss, he in that year was severely beaten up and later said to have jumped off a ledge and died after falling about 6 stories. Unknown today are the whereabouts of Houdini's papers. Any secrets that might have been published by his family? They're gone too. That's pretty much the story. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to mention. One of the men identified as a Madame Marcia client during those hearings was one Senator Clarence Dill. He was a Democrat of Spokane, Washington. He resided, by the way, just blocks away from the home of E.T. and his friends. Well, Clarence Dill, more than anybody else in government, got the giant Grand Coulee Dam built, and that saved the taxpayers from financing what could have been the largest, most expensive government boondoggle project in American history. I'll have more details regarding this soon. Meanwhile, this is E.T. Hit the thumbs up icon, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon to be notified of new uploads. Do share these videos on social media, and put in your comments below. Thank you.